There is more than one way to get to any physical destination. In the same sense, there is more than one way to create a budget. Today, we're taking a look at zero-based budgets. What are they and why do they work? Hello and welcome back to Sev Talks Money. Here at Sev Talks Money, we meet every Sunday afternoon at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and we talk about strategies, tools, tips, and all things money that lead to financial freedom. And today, we're talking about zero-based budget. The way we're going to approach this is I'm going to be sharing with you how to look at zero-based budgets, and then I'm going to demonstrate how a zero-based budget is put together. And finally, I'm going to be sharing with you some apps that you can use if you are not wanting to do a spreadsheet or if you're not wanting to do a paper budget. But I would really suggest that you start with paper or an Excel spreadsheet. So let's dive right in. And the first thing I'm going to do is show you the steps that you want to take when you are preparing any type of budget, really, but especially for this zero-based budget. So the first thing you want to do, you want to record your income. And that is income that is available for you to spend. That is your net income. Because maybe you have insurance coming out of your paycheck directly. Maybe you have savings come out of your paycheck directly, like I do. I have savings coming directly out of my paycheck to a special savings account that's online. Maybe you have other things coming out of your check. So what comes into your house, what you're going to be managing directly, this is what you want to record here on your budget spreadsheet. Now, you may have additional income. Maybe you have some dividends that come in. Maybe you have a side hustle. It's up to you if you want to include those. For me, I don't want to include side hustles because I don't want that to be part of my regular budget. The side hustle is for special things, maybe to pay off debt or to save for a vacation or something like that. So I don't include any side hustle money, any money from investments. I don't include that in my regular budget. But again, that's up to you. I don't do that because that money is not something I don't want my regular budget to be dependent on extra money that I'm making on the side. I want to contain my budget to my regular income. So that's my reason for doing that. So the first thing, again, you want to record your income. The second thing you want to do is record your monthly expenses. That is I put it here in bracket outgo because it's not necessarily all expenses. It could be savings also, but we'll go through that as I do the demonstration. So you want to record your monthly expenses, those things that are regular, like you're going to pay your rent or your mortgage every month. You're going to pay utilities every month. Those are the regular expenses. You want to record those. Then you want to look at irregular expenses. Do you pay homeowners association fees? Do you pay life insurance and maybe you pay once per year? Do you pay disability insurance? Maybe you pay that 3 times or 4 times per year. So you want to take those numbers and you want to divide it by the number of months. So if you pay disability insurance every quarter, you want to divide that by 3. And you want to put the 1/3 of that into your monthly budget. That way, when that bill comes due, you're not scrambling to pay your life insurance. You're not scrambling to pay your disability or your auto insurance. You're not scrambling to pay the homeowners association fee. You're not scrambling to pay your property taxes. If you divide that by 12 or 3 or 4 or whatever the factor is, and put that as part of your monthly budget, then that way you have better control over your monthly spending. This money needs to be set aside because you're going to need to pay that down the road. So the fourth step is to subtract those expenses or those outgo from income. And what you want to be left with is 0. If it's not 0, then you want to keep doing several iterations until you get to 0 or as close to 0 as possible. Now, before I show you the demonstration, Why do we want that to be as close to zero as possible? And well, let me back up. First of all, having a net zero does not mean you do not have saving, because your savings, whatever you're putting in savings, it's either going to come directly out of your paycheck before you get the net paycheck, or you're going to have that included as part of your expenses slash outgo. So you're going to always factor in your savings. You just want net because you want to say, if I get $1,000 in my paycheck deposited in my bank, I need to account for that $1,000 in some way. And that is the purpose of the zero budget. It allows you to see where your money is going. I shared before, some people, you may say, I break $100, I break $50. Where did it go? Well, the zero-based budget helps to eliminate that, because you are going to assign a home, you are going to assign a job to every dollar that comes into your paycheck. And again, comes into your bank account. So again, I'm going to demonstrate that here very shortly. So 2 apps that you can use if you are wanting to think about the zero-based budget, 2 apps that would be very good for that budget style if you're not wanting to do the Excel and the spread and the paper and all of that. And those two apps are Every Dollar and YNAB is You Need a Budget. Those 2 apps are good for if you are wanting to do the zero-based budget. So I'm going to run through the steps real quick one more time, and then I'm going to dive into a demonstration of putting together the zero-based budget. All right, so the first thing, again, is record your income. What is available to spend, your net income that's coming into your account. The second is record your monthly expenses, the regular things that are monthly expenses, the monthly outgoes. The third is to identify those things that are quarterly, annually, biannually. You want to make sure you divide that by whatever the factor is, and you want to include that as part of your monthly budget to prevent you having to scramble when it's time for you to pay those quarterly or yearly or bi-yearly bills. Then you want to subtract your expenses from, or your outgo from, your income, and you want to adjust until you get to zero. And while I'm setting up to demonstrate, if your first pass at this does not result in a zero balance, that is perfectly okay, because there's some months I have a few dollars left over, and that's fine. Some months I have I'm short a few dollars, and that's fine. You want to get as close to zero as possible, and I'm going to, as I demonstrate, you will understand why. So, and again, the 2 apps that I suggest that if you are wanting to do the zero-based budget, or YNAB, You Need a Budget, and Every Dollar app. So before I jump into the demonstration, let me quickly check the comments and see who's here. Inspirational by Marie. Hello, host. Hi. Thank you so much for coming by. Inspirational by Marie. She has a great inspirational channel, so please check her out. Asian American Legal Focus. Judy is here, and she's like maybe 2 away from hitting 1,000 subscribers. So please, if you have not subscribed to her, she talks about fun stuff around the legal field. And Kathy Coates has a cooking channel. Please go support her also. She has some great channel. I just saved one of her recipes that I'm going to be trying shortly. And Absab Kitchen also has a great channel. Let me put them up on the screen in case you can't see it. So Inspirational by Marie, please check out her channel for inspiration. Kathy Coates, check out her channel for great cooking recipes. Amsab Kitchen, check out her channel also for, it's a husband and wife team. Check them out for great cooking, a great cooking channel. And Asian American Legal Focus, she's just a few, maybe, right, she said 2. She's only 2 away from hitting 1,000 subscribers. That is so awesome. Yay! I am so proud of you. Okay, so with that said, I am going to jump into the demonstration of the zero-based budget. And again, if you have not subscribed to these ladies, please do so. And Kathy's saying, yes, AmSab has great recipes too. Yes, they certainly do. All right, so let's jump into I'm going to be sharing my screen, and I'm going to be putting together a an example of how you look at a zero-based budget. So let me do that. All right, let me go back to here and make sure you can see my screen, and I will take myself out so it shows bigger. And let me take off this. Okay. All right. So the first thing, as I said, the first step is to add your income. So I'm going to add income here, and that income is 5416.97, and that's the total monthly income. Now I'm going to list the expenses, and as I list, you will see the total expenses will come right here. I'm going to, let me highlight that in yellow. You're going to see the total expense is going to add here. This column, I am adding the regular expenses, and then this column is more irregular, like auto insurance that's paid every 6 months, disability insurance every 3 months, and life insurance every 6 months. So for auto insurance, I'll just go ahead and, since I'm over here, I'll fill that in. $91.79 for disability insurance and $85 for life insurance. So that's $268.12 that is being set aside on a monthly basis, even though these expenses are not due until the quarter or every 6 months or at the end of the year. So the total expenses for those categories, $268. So we're going to go over here and list the other things that we pay on a regular basis. So that's electricity, water, cell phone, and internet, student loans, tithes and offering, and family support. This is where you're giving a gift to your family member. And this is for memberships, educational classes that you may take on a monthly basis. Groceries, $450. Gas for auto, $52. And then waste, I am going to put here for waste, $22.50. Waste is paid quarterly. So that's in green because, and let me back up. For this one that's in purple, this money goes into one special savings account each month so that you have that at your disposal to pay those bills when they come due. So these go into a special, pretty much like an escrow account that a mortgage company will use. These go into one account. Then all the ones that are in green are going to go into another account. So entertainment, eating out, this is set aside for monthly, $50 for clothing and shoes, co-pays, medical, dental, vision. We'll add that here. That is going to go into a different category, a different account. And the reason for breaking these up into 3 different accounts, and let me finish this one first, and then I'll explain the reason for breaking them up into different accounts. All right, so auto repair, $70, and memberships, education. This is ones that are not monthly, but you know they're coming. College expenses, birthday gift fund, and then travel vacation savings. Okay, so the reason for breaking these up into different color codes is because, again, these are quarterly, annuals, they're special, they're insurance, so that's kept in one account. This is kept in one account because it's going to be, these two are pretty, you're setting them aside for monthly, but you might not spend $50 every month, but you want to, it's pretty close. Maybe the next month you might buy something. Entertainment, eating out, you're probably going to use that. So in this bucket, these two, 75 and 50, you can play around with those. So one month you may do $100 and then 25 on personal care. These two you play around with. This one you definitely keep, you do not touch that because you need to have in there the first month, $22.50. The second month you need to have what, $45 in there, and by the third month you need to have the $67.50 that's due for this. So you do not whatever you do, you need to make sure that this waste an amount is in there to pay the 6750 at the end of every 3 months. And then these two you can play around with. So you keep those in the same account because they're close to being monthly. Now, copay and medical, you might not do those. You might not go to the doctor every month. um, Auto repair, you're not going to repair your car every month. Well, so every 30, whatever, the 30 days or whatever, 90 days, you're going to do an oil change. You're going to have your 90,000 mile checkup. You're going to have your 70,000 mile checkup, whatever it is. So you want to have that money set aside based on what the expense is, that how new your car is, and what the expense is based on what the car company says you need to purchase for your 90,000 mile. 90,000 mile, you need to replace certain things. It's going to cost so much. So this amount here is going to depend on that, what those costs are going to be. Then you have also memberships and education, but those are not monthly costs. Those may be a quarterly cost, an annual cost, but you still set aside an amount and set it in that account, so when time comes for it to be paid, it's available to be used. Then college expenses, this is for books, maybe for your child. What else do they need? Maybe for a science class, a lab class, they need certain instruments. So for that, you would want to set aside something for any extra expenses that will come with them being in college. And then birthday gift fund, depending on how many people you're budgeting for, how many people, because for this, you want to think, how many birthdays do I want to gift this year? And what is the rough amount that I want to spend for birthday? Like for me, my birthday gifts, I only give to my mom, my daughter, and my nieces and nephews, and only the younger nieces and nephews. So I have a small birthday gift fund because that's all I gift for birthdays. And then I have a couple of friends who I may buy a couple of things for. And then travel, vacation savings, you may want to set aside something for that if that's one of your priorities. And again, these numbers are, outside of the regular rent and electricity and all that stuff, these numbers are depending on your lifestyle. They're depending on what your focus is. And that's why I keep saying personal finance is just that. It is personal. It is not something that you can say, okay, these are the categories that you have to use and these are the amounts you use. No, it depends on your lifestyle and what it is that you're trying to accomplish that month. Now, the zero-based budget, you're going to be redoing this each month because things change. Maybe next month you decide to enroll in a certificate course. Well, that may require that or maybe a mastermind or something. And the payment is maybe $50 per month until you've paid it off or whatever. Then you're going to shift some numbers here. You're going to say, okay, auto repair, right now I have built up $1,000. I think I'm good in the auto repair account. So let me not put anything in it for February or for March, but let me take that $70 and reallocate it to that class that I want to take. So these numbers, again, are numbers based on your goal for that month. And that's why this zero-based budget, you're actually doing it every month. And if you have it set up in this format, it makes it easier for you to insert, to add, subtract. I use spreadsheets for all of my budgets because it's easy for me when I set up my formula, it's easy for me to be able to change a number, insert a number, take out a number, because I can see the effect right away. I don't like the paper budget because you're erasing and then you have to add on the calculator again and you have to add, that to me just takes a lot more time. And for somebody who is averse to budgets, then the paper probably is not the best way to start. You may want to start with the spreadsheet, and then if you get more proficient on the spreadsheet, then you want to go maybe to one of those apps. So let me go back to the comments and see if there are any comments here and I can address them. So let's see. I don't see any questions or comments, so I'll just stop sharing here related to this. So I'll stop sharing. And Again, this works for anybody who is just starting a budget. If you're just starting a budget, this is a good way to get a handle on your spending. Because if you are out, if you do this and you see that, and you're using your credit cards every month, and you're thinking, I'm paying the credit cards, I'm using the card, I'm paying it, I'm using the card, I'm paying it. But it may be that you are spending more than your budget. Even though you're managing to pay it, what you're doing is you're charging next month's expenses on a card. And so you're going to always be behind. So this will help you to see, hey, I think I need to cut back in some areas. I need to either increase my income, or I need to reduce my expenses, or I need to do both. So this gives you a really great picture of how your spending is. And as you continue to play with it, you will get closer and closer to zero. And Kathy's saying here she's not a numbers person, and that's okay, because what this does is it's not even about the numbers, it's about control, it's about freedom. Because what it does, it gives you a good picture of where your money is going. Again, I said at the beginning where people would say, man, I just wrote $100. Where did it go? Because there's no tracking system. And so if you know you only have $100 in your bucket this month for eating out, when that's done, it's done. And so that's going to help you, instead of saying, you know what, let me just pull up my credit card and charge something. This is going to help you to say, I have $100 in my bucket for eating out. So I may want to eat out one weekend, one day per week for these 4 weeks in the month. And that gives you a better control over your spending. Yes, and Marie, yes, it does. It gives you so much freedom, because I can tell you that because I budget and I track my numbers so much, I know how to say one month, you know what, I don't need to track anything for travel vacation, because right now I have, and as I shared when I do my last Fridays, when I do my update for my budget, and for my saving plan, the saving exercise that I'm doing, right now I have over 7 months of savings, emergency savings. So I can play with numbers because I have that cushion. So and I can only do that because I have these numbers laid out in a way that I can see what I'm doing. And when I use my credit card, I'm not using my credit card blindly. I know I have control, because I know this credit card, when I go into the grocery store and I purchase anything, I know that that money is immediately going to be paid from my funds that I've set aside for just that reason. So I'm hoping that this has been helpful. I don't see any questions. And so if you have any questions, please send me an email at Severin@SevTalksMoney. And of course, if you go into the description of the video, you will find a button that says work with me. If you're wanting someone to help work with you on your budget, help you get your budget together, help you align your debt, then please go into the description of the video and click on that link that says work with me, and you will be able to set up an appointment with me for me to help you set your budget up and any other financial things that you want to personal finance things that you want to discuss. And also that same link is in the banner, the YouTube banner. It says work with me. So if you go directly to my account in YouTube and click on the banner, you will see a link that says work with me. You can set an appointment there, and I can help you get your budget together, take a look at your credit cards, help you align your debt to help pay down your debt. That's what I'm here for. I want to get you settled. I want to get you to where I am, and it did not take overnight. It took some work on my part to get here. So I don't want you to beat yourself up. All you have to do is start, and eventually it becomes second nature to you, just like it is to me. All right, so I'll check the comments one last time. And Marie is saying, Judy is saying, thanks, Dr. Sav. So thank you guys for your support. I really want to give a special thanks for those of you who show up here all the time. Thank you so very much for your continued support. I certainly appreciate it, and I certainly appreciate you. And with that said, I will see you next Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And next Friday, the last Friday of the month, please come join me as I give you an update on my separate savings challenge that I have. I'll give you an update on that. And I'll also give you an update on my net worth, because we're tracking that. We're meeting here the last Friday of every month, and I'm going to give you an update on my savings challenge. And I know some of you are also doing the challenge, so I hope you're doing well on the challenge. And I will see you here next Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and next Friday, I think that time is 8:30, but I will send out a notice to everyone who subscribed to me. Thank you so much, and have an awesome Sunday afternoon.